So hi, my name is Allison. I run the YouTube channel TheProgrammingCuber, for those who didn't know. I'm clearly not Australian, I'm from the East Coast of the United States. So, yeah.
So your accent stands out.
It does.
You also run the podcast Dulsoni, which a lot of people will be aware of.
I do also partially run that podcast, which, speaking of, we have to record that at some point too, but that's always fun.
So you're one of the bigger YouTube channels.
Yeah.
How many subscribers do you have?
18,000.
Damn. Nice.
That's okay. I mean, that could be better, but
when you go to competitions and stuff, do people recognize you and ask for signatures or something?
Yeah, it happens a lot, especially since our whole group of friends lives in this area. So when we go to competitions, we always go together. So it's just a whole table of people who keep recognizing at least 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah. Did that happen with us last time? We went there. I've been recognized for the cubing show once. I don't know if you guys have.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's hard to be recognized though, because people don't see your face.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
they recognized voice, and they were like, "Hey, you the guy from the cubing show?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then when they see Brad, they just kind of just crawl into the corner. They're scared they're going to be ranted at.
Alright, so let's get into some follow-up, I guess.
Oh, dear.
So last time, Reese, you went on a massive rant about all the records that happened at US Nationals, and you got one wrong, which was the US Nationals multi-blind record.
Oh god, please.
You said it was OCR, and it was actually an NAR, as pointed out by Megaminx Win, who called you a dolt.
Adult? I'm sorry, I'll leave the podcast, guys. This has been fun.
Yeah, you're kicked out now.
I don't even remember there being anyone from Australia at US Nats. There might have been one I don't know. I don't remember there being any at all.
Too far away.
Yeah, unless you're Felix or Jay
Yeah.
or people who get sponsored.
Yeah, and Felix and Jay are the only two sponsored, full-on sponsored people in Australia, so...
And then, next follow-up item, 5-timer, which we reviewed a bunch of episodes ago, received an update, which made it even more awesomer. TM, that's actually their tagline now. So it's got split view, and they got rid of the arrows on the top, and just a bunch of things that we complained about.
Yay!
Forced, fixed, which now makes it unequivocally the best timer, as if it wasn't before. It's now amazinger.
Amazinger.
Nice.
Also, in some follow-up, last time we had a rant about how people would post on various forums pictures of unsolved cubes, and then be all like, "This cube isn't solved, isn't that so infuriating?" Between last episode and this episode, another one has been posted.
I have never seen that.
It's very common if you go on Reddit. I don't know so much about speed solving.
I'm not in Reddit, yeah.
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 I don't even go on speed solving, I just go on Facebook, cubing and stuff.
Really?
That's the only place where a bunch of community members post cubing things that I'm part of. I don't really go on speed solving or Reddit.
Okay. I'm on speed solving. I'm not on Reddit, because every time Brad tells me about Reddit, it just sounds like one big joke, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, because, honestly, I'm on speed solving. That's basically the only other cubing media I actually check, apart from basically YouTube and Skype. And to be honest, 9 out of 10 people there are actually, good people, because generally, there's a lot of older cubers on that forum as well, and they're actually, super nice. If you go into the, older cubers discussion, they're totally on top of things. It's just great.
Yeah, I've heard good things about speed solving. I guess Cube Express is just kind of more, it's just kind of fun to be in because you get faster updates than checking speed solving. So I'll stay in Cube Express because I'll get updates really quickly on my phone or something. I can just check random stuff on there. So I haven't really gotten into speed solving, but I know people like Daniel Goodman will use speed solving a lot. He checks speed solving on a daily, every couple of hours.
Yeah, so do I, to be honest. Generally, I stay away from Facebook because it's kind of I don't want to get another social media where I have to check it all the time, because I know for Facebook that people join Facebook and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna get addicted. Then like 2 months later, they're just like, oh, help me. I'm like, okay. So generally I stay on speed solving because A, the people are nicer. Like you see a lot of just pretty all around nice people there. B, people are generally pretty helpful on there, and there's like a ton of content. I think the forum's been around since around about like 2004 or 5 or something like that. So it's been around for like 11 years.
Yeah.
So there is a heck of a lot of content on there, and you can go back pretty far and take a look, and some like the annals of cubing, like the actual when stuff started to begin, like methods and things that we all take for granted now, which is kind of cool. So there's like this whole plethora of resources and things like that. And as well, the system's just like easier, like it's easy to navigate and do stuff in, which is also great. So
if you're used to it, it is.
yeah, well, it doesn't take too long to get used to.
I don't go on speed solving that often, and I can like kind of navigate it, but I find it really confusing, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, same. It's
maybe it was just the recent update, but like to get to the recent post section, you need to do 13 clicks and. Oh
yeah. I just have direct link to that because it is kind of painful to get to there. But yeah. That's basically why I use speed solving. It's just nicer, to be honest. As for Reddit, to be honest, I just haven't heard any good things about Reddit. Like I know quite a few of the faster guys are on there, but like apart from that, I don't really know of anything that's actually of use on Reddit. So
I mean, in terms of Reddit, I've heard that there's like some fast people and that kind of thing, but I've also heard that there's a lot of nubs on Reddit.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things I keep hearing about Reddit.
That is true. Yeah, I guess, Allison, why Facebook?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the only thing was I was just kind of curious as to what was in Cubic's Friends, because I kept hearing about it from, my friends who were in it. Like, I think TheProgrammingCuber and #Cuber Ava were in it. And so they would keep saying stuff about like how they saw this on Facebook or whatever, and I was like, well, let's try it out.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. It wasn't really pressure, it was just kind of like, because they weren't telling me to join, but I was just inspired, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I guess the one good thing about Facebook is just like you get quicker updates, so it's just kind of like you'll be on your phone and you'll get an update for it and you can go check it out and see what it's all about. And sometimes there'll be like funny things posted on Facebook, so it'll be like memes and stuff, and there's a bunch of like Cubic's Friends memes that appear, and sometimes it's like pretty funny stuff. Like I said, not all the content is great on there, but some of it, when you actually see it, it's pretty funny. It's less serious than speed solving. I feel like speed solving is more like the posts are more thought out.
Yeah.
On Facebook, it's like really quick.
I guess that's to be expected because speed solving is only for cubing pretty much, but Facebook is just every single topic.
Speed solving is also like well maintained as well. Something I forgot to mention. Like it's well kept, and the rules are put in place pretty harshly, but they're also like they're reasonable. So
yeah, it's that legacy thing. There's a bunch of old cubers there, and speed solving's been around for however many years speed solving's been around.
Yeah,
and that's why it's so well maintained. How long has it been around?
Are
you aware?
I think for like 10 or 11 years. I'm not exactly sure though.
Jeez. It's also why I guess there's a lot of the newer cubers go onto Reddit and Facebook. It's because they already have a Reddit account or a Facebook account, or a speed solving is a specifically cubing platform, which is higher.
That doesn't mean that there are still like a lot of nubs on speed solving. Like, honestly, you do get pretty much quite a few posts every day, which is like, what cube should I buy? And they'll post like,
oh yeah, there are still nubs on speed solving, I've heard.
And the most annoying thing is they'll like make an entire new thread for that, which is like, I average sub 30 on 3x3 or whatever. And when there's literally like a thread which is already just there and has thousands of posts, it's like,
Instant follow-up. Last time we had a rant, people would post on various forums pictures of unsolved cubes. And on Reddit, there was a picture of a Rubik's Cube sculpture, which had 2 green centers and stuff and a bunch of other things. 300 upvotes. Like, again, there's nothing new being added. It's not even worthy content. It's a picture of a cube with 2 green centers.
There was a post about this on Cubix Friends too, where someone was asking like, do you guys get annoyed by the people who are annoyed by like the people who the people who are annoyed about these like wrong color schemes, or like 2 green centers or 2 of the same sticker on one piece, that kind of thing. Like there's people who get like really mad about that.
Tony Fisher uploaded a video yesterday on some cube, and he was like, I know some people get quite fussy when it comes to color schemes. I'm like, Tony, you beast.
I mean, there's no correct color scheme, but obviously it's not possible to have or it shouldn't be possible to have 2 of the same center or 2 of the same color on one piece, unless you did a sticker mod like that. But
yeah,
it's also definitely not possible to have an edge with 2 yellows.
But like, what's the big deal? Like,
I guess people get annoyed about it because it's obviously not an easy thing to make a sculpture, I guess, and people are saying, why didn't they just scramble a cube and then copy it from that rather than putting it randomly?
The thing is, people get like so tipped off about non-cubers, but it's like, I basically just say to them, did you know that there were not 2 green centers on the Rubik's Cube before you learnt how to do it? It kind of annoys me, because they're honestly not that bad.
I mean, sometimes they'll say the interestingly, I guess you could call them dumb things. Like, there are the people who have said, I've solved 5 sides and couldn't get the last one, which that's just straight up logic. So that it doesn't matter if you're a non-cuber or not. Like, that's just, if you say that, that's like...
But it's honestly like sometimes the community's just worse than non-cubers overall.
Yeah.
So going back to this sculpture thing, the top comment on the thread of the picture of the unsolvable Rubik's Cube sculpture, I don't know why people just take an actual scrambled cube and copied it. You're already making the damn thing, so you might as well do it right. But again, these cubes aren't out there to get it all right and to please you. Like, it's not like they just shoved random colours onto it. There was clearly some thought put into, well, you can't have 2 green stickers next to each other because that doesn't look good, because it's a piece of art, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they're not there to get the meticulous details of the Rubik's Cube, right? They're there to represent something and make it look good. And if the best looking Rubik's Cube isn't a one that's possible by scrambling, then, oh well, why should that annoy you?
That's true.
There's that really famous photo of the cube that's like melting, right? And why don't people get annoyed about that? I mean, it's a cube and it's melting. I mean...
You can't scramble a cube into a melting position.
It's such a stupid argument. Such a stupid argument. I don't understand.
I mean, I kind of see where people are coming from, where they're like, you know, if you're gonna put time into a sculpture, make it accurate, but at the same time, it's like, that's not what the focus of making the sculpture is.
Yeah.
So, it really... You can argue both ways, but don't get super worked up over it, because then there's just no point. But I guess you could kind of, like, notice and be annoyed, but
yeah,
writing like huge long paragraphs explaining how it's terrible is like pretty pointless.
And either way, this sculpture's probably got more attention because it's incorrect.
Yeah,
maybe it's intentional then.
Ooh, conspiracy theory.
The bottom comment on this thread from Throst, he says, "It's art. It can be whatever the artist wants. No one complains about that shirt with the melting cube on it." Yeah, minus 14 points. Apparently people really don't like valid points.
Wow.
But he says perhaps he or she intentionally made it this way. There's definitely some meaning there about how a cube can never be properly solved and how things are never the way we expect them or desire to be.
Ooh.
I think that's looking a little too far into it. Like,
yeah, it is.
There was another thread a few days later called Unpopular Opinion. Cubers need to stop being so anal. Why do people here get so picky about colour schemes? Hey, I found a picture of this cube and it makes no sense. And then people proceed to make fun of the cube.
Like, why are you even making fun of a cube? It's a cube. It's an inanimate object.
Yeah.
It's not gonna run into a corner and just start crying and eat taco shells in the shower. No, it's a cube.
the top comment on this thread is that most people aren't actually annoyed. It's more of a running joke now. To which I respond, it's a terrible joke. Because it's not funny.
True.
It's just people... And the running joke thing seems more like an excuse. Because I feel like people do actually get annoyed by this. I can see why people would get annoyed.
Yeah.
But if it is a joke, it's an awful joke.
Yeah.
And it's been run into the ground too many times.
Yeah.
It's like memes. Like, no one makes Chuck Norris jokes anymore because they've been run into the ground and they're not acceptable. And if you make Chuck Norris jokes, then everyone thinks you have used a time machine and came back from 2008. So this joke has just been run into the ground. Unsolvable cubes are the Chuck Norris of cubing. Anyway.
I still watch funny cat videos. I don't know about you guys.
I think it was... Yeah, Felix recently put out a video where... See if I can find this video, where he was basically talking about all the best cubes on the market.
Oh, right.
What I found interesting was at the start of the video, he said, if you're watching this video in 2018 or longer, or like further away from that, then this video will no longer be relevant. Which makes me think, like, videos from 2014, they're still kind of relevant, and...
Yeah. I could still see people using Along V2s way into 2018 or whatever. You look at this kind of exponential graph we have here, where you obviously have, like, in 2010, the best cube was, like, the cube view, right? And then since then, it would kind of sped up a ton, and then I think it's just slowing down now. I don't think cubes are getting worse. I just don't think they're getting much better.
Yeah, I mean, cubes have gotten to the point where they're so good that it's like you could use anything that's on the, like, that's kind of recent. Anything recent is good, basically. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say that. Most things recent are good.
I still think, like, some cubes are better than others, though. Like,
Yeah,
like
but...
the Thunderclap, for example, even people who, like, didn't like the feel of the Thunderclap still got better times. Like,
Yeah.
who uses it now? Kian, Jay, other people, Kenan. It's like, all of these people, even like, Kian, for example, wasn't too keen on it when he first opened it, and then got his, like, PB average of 100 really quickly or something like that. So, like, some cubes I think are just naturally better for some reason.
That's true.
A lot of people will also say that the cubes we have now are, like, perfect and you can't get any better, and it's only tiny differences that separate the cubes.
I would agree with that.
If the cubes right now are perfect, then, like, in 2 years, will the market really change?
I wouldn't say they're perfect. I mean, if you look deep enough, you can pretty much find a flaw in every single puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's different, so there's going to be, like, something different in a cube for everybody, so it's pretty hard to make a perfect, so to say, puzzle.
And then again, like, maybe a few years ago when all these puzzles weren't out, people might have thought the same thing, that all the cubes are pretty much the same. And
But I mean, the differences between, like, a Guhong and a Zanchi or something, they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I feel like there's definitely a bigger gap between the cubes than they are now.
Yeah. Like, there's no, if the Oolong was a Guhong, there's no Zanchi. It's tiny improvements and not a big leap.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, we're reaching the end of this bell curve where all of the cubes are only going to be a tiny bit better. And, like, so is that video really going to be outdated in 2018? Or will most of the cubes still be the same with, like, one or two new ones?
I don't know, because people honestly hype cubes up to be so much, and a lot of them aren't even that great, so... Thunderclap V2, that was a big flop.
Yeah, the Thunderclap, I mean, I think some people managed to get it good, but when... I don't have one of my own, but when I tried, like, several other people's, it was terrible.
Stuff like that, Diane Pyramix, like, other things, people...
Oh, God.
People, when they come out, they're like, oh, yeah, this is the best cube on the market.
Aren't they making a Diane Pyramix V2?
Yeah, I think so. Which is funny, because I actually don't mind the Diane Pyramix, but, like, when a cube comes out, and it's from Moyu or whatever, they're just gonna be like, oh, this cube's gonna be the best cube on the market, and when they unbox it, they're like, yeah, it filled all my expectations or whatever, without actually, like, looking underneath the surface a little bit.
People will believe whatever they want to be true. If they want the Diane Pyramix to be amazing, then they'll believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I think cubes these days definitely get overhyped, because so many are coming out, and every one, it's like, there's so much hype surrounding it, and you get it's like, pretty similar to everything else.
Yeah. What about you, Bryce? Have you ever gotten, like, a cube that you thought was gonna be amazing, but then, like, unboxed it, and you were like...
Yeah, the Moyu Lingpo, the 2x2. I thought that was going to be really good, but yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot better than I thought it would, but Diane 2x2s.
Yeah, that was like me and is it the Wapo, the new one? I tried a Wapo recently, and everybody was saying like it's the Diane killer or whatever. And I tried it, and it's honestly just like all the other Moyu 2x2s. There's basically no difference. Like
it's pretty similar, but I think a lot of the hype around that one is honestly like the Cubicle Premium one. Like everyone gets the Cubicle Premium Waypo and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing."
Yeah, it's interesting. The Cubicle Premium thing, I think they're taking over. Just personally, like the amount of people who are just like getting the premium cubes is unbelievable now.
I mean, the premium ones are good though. Like especially like the Gans Air Premium. It's like the deal you get on that. It's the original is like $26, but the one you get, the premium one, is like only $30, so it's only $4 more, which is including like lubing and tensioning and stickering for you. So like, I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that your main cube?
I haven't gotten that actually, but I might get it at some point.
I've tried it again. So
my main right now is the Volk 3. The Volk 3 is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I tried that at the Australian Nationals comp. I like the Volk 3.
Yeah.
I tried Gans Air and it was like, felt pretty similar to be honest. Just felt like a Gans, but a little bit smoother in a way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on that too. All the Gans puzzles have like a similar type feel. And it's like, it's pretty particular. Like, you have to really like Gans. Like, you have to be like the Felix or like cubing with Mikai or something. Like, just, you really like that feel. And then you just stick with that. Unless
you get like the original V1 or V2. Like the Gans V1 and the Gans V2.
Yeah, those are a lot different.
I've tried a couple of them, and those remind me of, like, was it the Leeing? Was there, like, third cube or whatever? Those are pretty similar. So, it's kind of interesting, because they've changed so much.
They kind of, like, jumped when they went to the 57, the 357, and then that's when they kind of started this whole Gans feel.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a Cubicle Premium Cube.
I've only gotten one, actually. I've only gotten the Maying, which was quite a while ago, but I have wanted to get maybe others at some point, but for now, I haven't gotten any others yet.
Was it good? Was it worth it?
The Maying was pretty good, but that was like at the very beginning of them starting this Premium Cube thing, so I want to try like their newer ones.
What about you, Reese?
No, I haven't gotten one. I felt a couple, and they felt pretty good, to be honest. It's interesting, because...
Oh, the Cubicle Gans Air is actually only $29.
Oh, what?
So, it's $3 more, not $4.
How can they be making a profit off that?
Allison, you're quite different. You have a quite light turning style, if I remember. Which kind of goes...
yeah, it's pretty light, yeah.
Which goes well with, like, light cubes, obviously, like the Maying or Weishao or something. Which is interesting, because that seems to be going against a lot of what people have these days. Like, I know, for myself, I have a very rough turning style, but it kind of works.
Because I think my turning style has, like, gotten a little bit more rough, like, than it was. It used to be, like, so incredibly light that it was ridiculous, but now it's, like, a little bit more, I don't know, forceful, since I'm getting faster, my 2PS gets faster, it just has to be, but I don't know. I guess, because I can then use cubes that, like, some people will say will, like, lock up and stuff. I can use those fine. So, I don't know. I guess that would be the main difference. Or some people say they'll get, like, small catches on cubes, and I'm like, what catches?
Yeah, there are some, like, really fast cubers who have just, like, turning styles that are light, but just work.
Kevin Costello III is the first example I can think of. His turning style is ridiculous. It's so light and fluid, it doesn't even look like he's putting any effort into it. But then you have, like, Kenan Lejeune, who's, like, basically trying to destroy his cube.
Dino turning.
Yeah.
Kenan on big cubes. What a joke.
You know, at school when they talk about learning styles, like
tactile
learners and auditory learners, I've always been suspicious of that. Like, I don't think that's a thing. People just learn, and it doesn't matter whether they touch the information or not. Turning styles, I don't think are really a thing for me. I can see how people would be more heavy-handed, but I don't know how that affects the cube. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I guess it's like, if there's subtle differences, it doesn't really, but if there's like a big difference, like if you compare like Kennan's turning to any other person who's a little more like fluid, I mean, you can see the difference there, like in the types of cubes they would use. But like, I feel like for people like Felix, like since Felix uses the GANs, like if you have a really heavy, sort of inaccurate turning style, you really can't use a GANs, because GANs will start like locking up on you.
Yeah. Every time Gans is, somebody brings up Gans, it's just Derpy's floppiest cube thing just pops into my mind.
What affects turning style? There's heaviness. Would accuracy also be at play?
Yeah, I think accuracy is part of it.
And I can't really think of anything else that would affect turning style.
I just guess it's what you're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, it kind of bugs me a little bit when, like, the younger cubers walk into competition and they've got, like, I don't know, just, like, really fast cubes, and they put Maru and Weight 1 in them, and they go to their solve, and they start locking up a bunch, and they're like, I don't know why I'm getting bad times. It's because literally their cube is the speed of light and can do 4 turns in 1.
I can see where you're coming from.
My main competition cube is a Tanglong, so that's slower.
Yeah, I definitely like faster cubes as opposed to slower ones.
Yeah.
I guess the natural instinct, if you're trying to make a cube or something, or like lube your own cube, the natural instinct is to make it as fast as possible, and gotta go fast.
Yeah.
But that could be wrong at some point.
Yeah, new people don't realize that speed is not everything.
Yeah, so like if you're plotting turning style on a graph, like everybody would be a lot closer to the center than people realize. Like it's not very spread out to the very light or very heavy ends.
Like I feel like the farthest on the heavy end is still Kennen.
The one question I want to ask is what it's like being a cubing celebrity in inverted commas. Would you describe yourself as that? I don't know.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't think there's really terminology for that, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's sort of like you start out making these random videos on whatever camera you dig up at home, and then all of a sudden, like, you actually are doing well, and people like things, and it's like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
I do remember when you were at, like, 200 subs. Like, those were the days. Those were, yeah, when I was recording with, just the camcorder. I recorded with that camcorder for a long time, though. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it was a good camcorder. It was an HD. It wasn't like, you know, DJ Cubes' 3DS or anything. I mean, he went from a 3DS to then a 480p camera, I think, and then went to a HD finally. I don't know, I think people get different starts depending on what resources you have. A lot of cubers will start with, like, their phone, which is fine. Or, if you're like me, you happen to have a camera, or a dad who's, like, a camera nerd. Yeah.
But, anyway, going back to the original topic, I guess getting recognized at competitions, like the first time I ever actually got recognized at competitions, I think was probably like Red Cross Open or something, because I had gone to US Nationals 2014, but at that point I only had like 200 subs. But then the next competition I went to was like several months later, and it was in like December or something, and at that point I had like 2,000, and then there was actually like a couple people who recognized me, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. I've never, like, I don't know, I never thought I would be recognized by random people I don't know personally.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, that's a little crazy. And I even heard at some point maybe not recently, like last year, where I had a friend I was talking to who saw, like, there were people in his class in the high school who were watching my videos, like, during class or something. And then he was like, hey, did you know that she actually goes to this middle school? You're in the high school, the same district? And they're like, what? No way. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
What? One of the questions that I want to ask is, like, I regard you as probably one of the more enthusiastic YouTube cubers out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I try to be more energetic in my videos than, like, some people would just be super professional. Because I do try to do, like, a lot of quality stuff and a lot of that kind of thing. where I actually put like real content, but I also try to be more upbeat and not like just monotone.
Yeah,
because that's kind of, I mean, that's like what I find boring, so I don't want to, like, if I find that boring, I figure other people must as well. So I think, I don't know, for myself, it's not as much as people like TheProgrammingCuber or something. Like his is like almost like majority personality at that point and stuff like that. But I think I'm a little less. I'm not as much as like Derpy or anything. But
yeah, because that's the reason I'll choose like watching you or Convincer or somebody like that over, I don't know, watching JRCuber or Chris Olsen, because I don't know, that's a controversial one, but it's like, I don't know, I'd much rather watch somebody who, like, enjoy themselves and put in the effort.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the mix. I like trying to do a mix where it's like, it's professional, it looks good, but at the same time, you're not just being super monotone. But it depends on what you want to watch at that point. You know, like, you maybe in your subs you want some people like Derpy, but then you also want to watch some videos like Chris where it's like super polished, you know?
Yeah.
So
because it's easy to have a camera set up on a white background and review cubes and just be like, this cube costs $13 on the cubicle.us, and there's plenty of them, and there's plenty of people with 20 subscribers doing that with their 3DS.
Yeah.
But it's
with the 3DS.
It's the personality that brings it. It separates you because everybody's unique and different. And if you don't use that as a tool, then you're doomed to the 20 subscriber 3DS person.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I think JRCuber or Chris makes like bad videos or something like that, but like, I just think that I enjoy people with personality more, and like, it comes through. Like, one of the Australian YouTubers who's like really come up a lot recently is Spotty. I think she watches. Like, she's gained, I think she's almost at 1,000, if not past 1,000 already, up to like, I think 4 months doing YouTube cubing. So, and she's just like one of the most enthusiastic people I know who does like cubing.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say like how fast QB time grew. That's definitely like his personality, because you know he doesn't. You have to admit he does not have like the greatest, most high quality setup ever, but he has like a lot of energy.
Yeah,
and then that comes through in his videos, and that's, I think, how he grew that quickly.
Yeah,
and then also like going back to Spotty and stuff, it's about the uniqueness of the content. Because there's a lot of reviews and there's a lot of unboxing, let's do solves, here's me at a competition channels.
Yeah.
But Spotty also does stuff like the Q&As and like the stop motion stuff, which also separates. And Nathan Wilson, as we talked about, does the modding.
Oh yeah, Nathan is great.
Not only the unique personality, but also the unique content. A lot of the top channels are that review, unboxing, solves channel, which is why there are a lot of very like low subscriber count channels that are like that as well, because they see the top cubers like that and they're like, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I guess it's kind of just like, it's kind of like the first people who get to it, like doing those unboxings, solves and stuff. Like the biggest cubers who do that sort of stuff are like doing it a lot earlier on. But now if you want to like grow a cubing channel, it kind of needs to be a bit more unique, yeah.
I mean, that kind of almost relates to the XYCuber naming thing. That's kind of mostly started with JRCuber. JRCuber got super big. People are like, hey, that's a good idea to name your channel. And then they start doing that, and then there's just too many.
Yeah.
Because there are, what, like 500 combinations for that. But there are way more than 500 YouTube channels with initials plus Cuber on the end of it.
I mean, there's that test that people do where they literally just look up 2 letters and then Cuber and see if there's a channel, and like most of the time it actually works.
Oh my god, I love doing it. That's so fun.
If there was a new cubing channel listening to this, what would your advice be to them, Allison?
I would definitely say it's like, it doesn't matter about the real quality. I mean, it does matter. You don't want to have like the completely potato video, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of tricks you could do with that. Like, I think Chris also was talking about lighting. Like, you don't, if your camera's not the best, if you have good lighting, which you can get easily just by walking outside, if you can get good lighting, it looks a lot better than the quality of your camera would actually make you think. You should really actually let your personality show on camera and be really energetic. Because I remember, like, the first couple videos I made, I was so quiet. It sounded like I was speaking in front of like 1,000 people and I was super nervous or something. even though like I had no subscribers, so I wouldn't be talking to anyone anyway. You could barely understand me, and then I don't know, it was just really bad. So you should kind of just assert yourself, just be yourself. Try not to get too nervous on camera, even though it might be hard, because I know some people get really camera shy. Yeah, so, and also organization is important. You know, again, if you can't have the quality, at least try to organize the content within it, so that you're not just completely ranting on and on. And, well, I mean, not that rants are that bad, but...
Triggered.
Hashtag triggered. So that you don't keep talking on and on without really having a point, or without really knowing what you're talking about.
You don't do that many solves, do you?
I do not. Yeah, I don't really upload averages and stuff like that. I don't film them all too often. I never catch anything good, I guess, when I film. But the couple times that I have, then I try to upload it. But even when I do, like, recently, I caught some good stuff. Like, I think I filmed my first blind success, and then I just never uploaded it, because, I don't know, I got lazy, and I forgot. So, and then after a while, I was like, I could upload this, but it's kind of irrelevant now, because that blind success was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I have my PB3 average of 5 from ages ago, which is like the 9.35, which I have on camera. I never uploaded for some reason.
Yeah, like, there's been some good things I caught that I just never bothered to upload, and then it became irrelevant, and I was like, well, whatever.
What else can we tackle around cubing? YouTube, sorry.
Non-cubers.
Q-tubing.
One-by-one jokes.
Q-tube. That's a new one. One-by-one jokes. I did make one-by-one jokes in my one-by-one unboxing, and then afterwards I realized how tiring they were. Like, for a lot of jokes, it's kind of like, if you execute them well, then they could still be funny, but I think one-by-one jokes, you can't even make them funny if you execute them well at this point. It's just done.
There's a lot of those kind of cubing jokes, actually. There's always, like, the thread when someone makes a cubing pun, and then the top comment is, I'm Diane over here, and then it's like a chain of predictable puns. Yeah,
way long and ow long.
And then just, like, horrible, relatable memes. Don't you hate it when non-cubers do this?
Yeah. I pulled the nobody does the F perm the other day, and then Daniel wanted to make literally commented underneath saying, dude, you live in the Middle Ages.
What's that one page on Speed Solving Wiki, which is like a list of cubing memes?
Yeah, that's a classic.
Oh, like Mitch gets used a lot.
Yeah.
I think way too much. Mitch can be good if you find it in good situations, but if you just literally randomly find the number 625, it's not that funny.
Yeah, like, you should have seen Jay uploaded last night, and it was like, how to use the Valk 3 or something like that. It was like Valk 3 first impressions. It was like, how to use the Valk 3 gets a 5. How do you improperly use the Valk 3 gets a 6.25. But it was actually, like, legit. It was so well executed. It was just good.
Yeah. But sometimes people would just be like, oh, it's 6:25 a.m. or it's 6:25 p.m. Who wakes up at 6:25 a.m.? Well, people who go to school, but anyway. It's 6:25 p.m. Better take a screenshot because it's Mitch. Haha, so funny. And it's like, classic. No, not really. That's like, that happens twice a day. It's not that special.
You remember Michael Huma Nuka Kuna?
Huma Nuka Apua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good for like the first 2 days, and then it got a little old. But like, we need more stuff like that.
But the Cubicle did such a good job executing that. It was great.
Yeah.
I was at the competition where he debuted. I was at Manhasset, and it was great. It was so fun. Yeah. And then you have like Ricardo walking around just straight up eating the pineapple at the end. Like, by the end of the competition, Ricardo was just biting into this pineapple. We're like, dude, you're crazy.
But then, again, the problem with this is, like, people drove the Michael thing into the ground, and there were people making pineapple jokes, like, in May.
But then there are those people who, like, actually believed that Hawaiian Kosiemba was a real method.
Yeah, they actually, like, made the method up and generated the hours and stuff. Now, that was good. We met up at Australian Nationals for, like, the first time altogether in about 2 years. The first time since we started this podcast.
And also the first time Reese saw my face in 2 years.
Yeah, I was pretty distressed. And as well, we should probably link a cool video. I I decided to walk up to Fez, give him a scrambled cube, and tell him to give us a premium example solve using his classic T-perm ticked method that he devised in 2009, which is...
What was it? There was a forum post, like, when he was 12 that he put up this method called ticked, which, he gave us an example solve of. So we'll put that video up if you're interested.
Yeah.
And you can check that out. Put it in the show notes.
Anyway, we should probably just wrap things up, okay? So, thanks to Alison, obviously, for coming on. You can
thumbs up.
Check her out at TheProgrammingCuber on YouTube.
And also Dilsoni, check out that if you want a good cubing podcast.
Yeah, one that's...
This is pretty good, dude.
one that makes sense.
They're kind of like differently themed.
Yeah.
They're differently themed.
I think we talk about memes a lot more.